Welcome to Stay Paid. Today we are answering your burning questions in real estate, business, marketing, and more. On these episodes, we take live calls from listeners of Stay Paid. And if you want to have your questions answered live on the show, make sure to follow us on Instagram at Stay Paid Podcast. Shoot us a DM. As well, you can visit ReminderMedia.com/ask and submit your questions there. As always, my name is Josh Dyke, and I am joined by Luke Acree, president of Reminder Media, Stephen Acree, and Cody Smith from the Acree Brothers Realty team. We're going to bring in our first caller here of the day, Craig from Los Angeles. Craig, welcome to Stay Paid.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Great. Yeah, I can hear you. It's great to have you on the show, man. Welcome to Stay Paid. We'd love to hear, what you have going on. What's your kind of struggle right now in the business that you think is preventing you from the next level?
I'll do it, man. Look, I'm not in Los Angeles, but I am in Louisiana, so I guess it has to.
Okay, we'll take
LA is
Louisiana.
LA,
I'm going to talk to our producer.
We're the other LA, man. That's all it is.
Yeah.
That's probably what it was.
Oh, man. Love being on. Thanks for having me on here, guys. I just love your podcast, man. I've learned so much about it. I've only been a realtor now about working on my third year, but got hooked up with you guys a couple months ago and have really loved it a lot. It's been great.
Thanks, brother.
And shout out to my my account manager, Kyra. She's been great to work with. She's helped me get
Let's
through.
go.
We hear that a lot.
So
Yeah.
you should hear that a lot. I tell you what, whatever y'all paying her, it's not enough. I promise. She has helped me like you cannot imagine. I'm telling you, she's a big part of my success this part of this year. But some other
That's
things
amazing.
that I've done, and I'm having a banner year. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've never been in real estate when it wasn't hard, right? Because I got in right as COVID was ending.
Okay.
And so it's always been like this. And I'm hearing this year is, it depends on who you listen to. Last year was worse than this year. No, this year, it just depends on who you talk to. I'm going to tell you, I'm having a great year. I mean, it's going fantastic. But it's things that I've done over the years, building businesses, right? Personal growth, development, all the things y'all talk about, very important to me. When I wake up in the morning, it's I do something to help my mind, my spirit, everything, my relationships, my sobriety, whatever it is I've got to do to make sure that my head space is in the right space so that I can go out and help people, and so I've done that for years in other businesses. And, to get into real estate when I did is just sort of pulling some of that in. So it's been good. Had a great year. Double what I did last year. I'm 6 months.
Well, what do you think is holding you back from the next level?
Next level
I guess tell us just for data, like how much volume have you done this year?
This year, I've had 1.4 million. It'll be over 2 million in about 3 weeks.
Awesome.
I've got some closings that are right up.
Yeah, that's fantastic, man. So 2 million, and so awesome start to the year. What do you think's holding you back from, doubling that, as they say, or 10xing that?
Oh man, it's okay. It's making the calls. It's doing what I know I need to do. Now I do them. I just don't. I'm not consistent with them, right? I've run, but I've got a question for you about something I've run into in terms of the listing side of the transaction. So can I go there? Is that okay?
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
So what I've had, I've had several listings, right? And, it doesn't matter if they're, at the medium range, a little bit below, a lot higher in the middle, anywhere. People are people, as I go and working with them. I have some, not all, but I got some that just think, I guess they all think, it's worth a lot more than what the market will bear. And so I'm dealing with listings that are way up there. And, for example, I did open house last weekend for one that's way up there. And of course we had very little people show up, but thank God I'd listened to you guys. I took my magazine and a flyer that Kyra had helped me with a QR code in it and went door to door saying what y'all said. By the way,
awesome.
we're having an open house here. People may be parking in front of your car. Here's my stuff. So that's been good. I got from that, but I'm having trouble with the clients that I'm listing houses for that just won't budge on what they think.
Yeah, they want a higher price in essence.
Yeah.
And so you're kind of torn. Do I just take the listing with the higher price, or do I stand my ground? and tell them what they need to hear. I'd be curious, Steven, your opinion, right? You've had live in the trenches doing this. Like, what's been your experience there?
Yeah, well, the good news is you've only been 3 years in the business. It probably took me, 6-7 years to really get through this. And, now we're closing 250 deals. We deal with the same exact problems, the same exact problems, right? People want the most money that they get in the pocket, and that's a good thing. And so the really like a shift in thinking is they don't make money if it doesn't sell, and you don't make money, Craig, if it doesn't sell.
Right.
And so really you just got to sit back and go, dude, I have to have these truthful, hard conversations with individuals. Right now you have to pitch it and present it in the right way, which the right way, the motivation is to make the most money. And so everything needs to be framed to your seller. This is what I've experienced is I always frame it with a positive of, hey, my goal here is to bring you the most money, right? And with that, I've got to be completely transparent with you, right? These are the stats that I'm seeing, and just make sure you're showing, not telling. These are the stats I'm seeing on your property. We've only got 500 views on Zillow. We've got 10 saves on Zillow, and we got 0 showings.
Yeah.
So we know right off the bat that we are priced a little bit aggressively to the market in order to get up to what I think we can get up to, which is X. I think that's going to net you the most money that you can make in your pocket. We need to act fast in this market. And so you're framing it in a positive, and you got to get them to shift their thinking back to their motivation, which is to make the most money. The truth is sellers just don't trust you when they're saying they don't want to drop price. They don't trust that that's the decision that should be made. And so you gotta explain that to them.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
Is there a way to prevent that, like before you get the listing? I think is what he's kind of pointing towards too, like the beginning conversation, not during. How do you frame it to get them to not do the higher price, or do you?
From the beginning, getting the listing appointment. Yeah, so usually, you got the comps in front of you, right? So we always say here, show, don't tell. And so we get them to look at the comps, and then they make the decision or where they should be in the comps. You want people to make the decision on the price, but you're leading that through showing them, where they should be. The second thing is setting up expectations with guys. If we don't get X amount of showings in the first week, I'll come to you guys. I'll tell you when we need to do a price drop. I'll be the one to do that. And I'll tell you when we don't need to do a price drop. But I'm going to be the one. I'll make sure that you know where you're at on price, and then we'll do a price drop from there. So you always want to set up, the price reduction, because we don't decide the market, buyers decide the market. And so you just want to frame it in the way of, this is the expectation. I will be coming to you if we don't get X.
Yeah, super well said. Craig, I have a great podcast for you to listen to on Stay Paid. I think it was Tom's Story.
Yeah.
Am I getting that right?
Yeah.
So Tom, I don't know if you listen to that one or not, but Tom has an incredible listing presentation, and shout out to him. I think he's like one of the #1 agents in Canada or something like that. But one of the things he does that's very similar to what Steven and Cody are talking about is the night before the listing presentation, he sends that client, or prospective client, a video from him and a bunch of comps. And he basically encourages them, hey, I'm looking forward to our meeting tomorrow. I just wanted to send you some information. What I want you to check out, these aren't exactly like your listing, but they're very similar. And I want you to see what the price was of those, because I'd love to get your thoughts on that when we meet tomorrow. So he's already seeding the pricing combo into the mind of the prospective client, and that's the key. I'll close with this just to encourage you, is that my experience in business has been is if you do not hold to your truth and values, you will regret it, because in the end, you just end up wasting your time and their time. And the only exception I ever make to that is for a brand new agent that just needs to get their teeth kicked in to actually learn the business. So never take crappy listings unless you're a brand new agent, because you need any listing you can get and you got to learn. But at your stage of the game, already a few years in, already doing 2 million in volume, at this point, you've got to hold to your values and hold to your truth, because you're just wasting time. But in order to do that, you got to be a professional. It seems to me, my advice I would give to you is, what is the pre-packet, pre-marketing, pre-seeding that you're giving to that potential seller before you show up at their house? And I would focus some attention there. I would go check out the Tom Story interview, and he has a whole training on BAMX. If you're not a member of BAMX, shout out to Eric and the team there. Yeah. But he walks you through his whole listing presentation, everything he does. I bet you if you do that, you will have less of that problem.
I love that
because you are leading with the data.
Love. My broker, I got an awesome broker, man. He's been there for me in all of this, and he talks a lot about Tom Ferry. I know he does. I don't look at Tom Ferry as much. I have other things I do, but I definitely will check that out.
Well, Tom Ferry is great. I'm talking about, I believe it's Tom Story.
Oh, yeah, Tom Story.
Oh. Yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, for everybody listening, sorry if I said Tom Ferry. I meant Tom Story. But he is an incredible agent out of Canada. I'll hook you up. I'll send you the episode so you can have that. But Craig, really appreciate you, man, coming on the show. I know this question is super helpful for a ton of people. And let's connect on social, man. I really appreciate it. And you're kicking butt, dude. So keep kicking butt. Let's double it. Let's 10X it for you.
Do it, guys. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
See you.
Yep. See you.
Bye, man.
All right, there you go. You can get your questions answered live here on Stay Paid. Head on over to ReminderMedia.com/ask and submit your questions there. Next, we've got David. Let's see if I can get the location right this time. David from Ohio. David, how you doing? Welcome to Stay Paid.
We got Ohio in the house, man, and sharp video, man.
Yeah,
you got
a nice
you got
camera.
Clearer film than us right now. I love it. This guy's a video pro. David, man, welcome to Stay Paid. Would love to hear just what your big problem is right now that is maybe preventing you from the next level in your business.
Yeah, so I have a good problem, and my problem is that I'm having a hard time keeping up with my current clients, let alone keeping up with and staying on top of my clients that are not quite ready now, not quite in contract right now, to be able to follow up with them and really keep them on that process. So I guess my question is what would you recommend to help a solo agent? I did just recently start getting a showing assistant to help me with showing, so that's been helpful. But what else would you all recommend for a solo agent to help in growing that business and handling the client load so I don't absolutely lose my sanity?
Yeah.
Love it.
Let's tell us a little bit about your production. Like, how many transactions have you done this year? You know, what's your volume? What's your gross? What's your net?
I'm trying to remember. I haven't had a ton already this year, but so I want to say it was like 5 or 6 closings already this year. And then I had one yesterday, and I'll have 5 more the second half of this month. Plus several more buyers who are in contract with like new builds, from dirt. But just a lot of inbound leads. So it's people, it's not like a Zillow lead where I'm chasing people down, but it's people who've reached out to me and want me to help them. And then it's just, again, a matter of staying on top of them.
How long have you been in the business?
I just passed 4 years. So this is my 5th year now.
Okay. Awesome. And what was your volume last year? Like number of transactions volume last year?
I want to say it was 15 or 16 transactions for a little under 5 million.
That's your issue, man. Your issue is you need to know your numbers immediately. And obviously I mean that respectfully, not beating you up, but I want to help you the best I can. Is like, it shouldn't be, I think 15 to 16. I think this, like your first step to freedom. And just, this is what I guess I've learned in my experience is normally when I'm growing something and it's not executing at the level I want, but it's doing great, right? I think about ReminderMedia and, I think about like our postcard division and when it was first scaling up and we were trying to build it, like we're known for our magazines. We had people asking us about, doing postcards. So we just were like, man, we're overwhelmed with business. Clients are asking us, let's spin up postcards. And we started running postcards. Josh is laughing because, we got it up to, I forget, 3 million or something like that in revenue at that period of time. But the problem was we didn't take it actual seriousness in tracking our P&L for the postcards. And just like you, it was like, oh, it's going well. Like, we're overwhelmed. Like, this is business coming in. Turns out as we started to track the P&L, we weren't making really any money. And so we ended up having to readjust the whole business based upon the numbers. And that's what I am sensing from you is going, oh, you're crushing it. You're naturally talented. You've been in 4 years. You're doing incredible, man. So kudos to you. Most agents aren't closing what you're closing. But if you want to go to that next level, you have to have certainty around what your numbers are, meaning, oh, I've closed this much this year. This is the exact number of leads I have that have come in. And this is my then process to handle those leads. Because until you almost like know the number, you can't develop the systems.
That's right.
In order to help you leverage against that number. So I'm curious your thoughts, Cody, as the ops guy.
Yeah.
What your kind of experience has been in this.
Yeah, no, I love that, because I was also thinking, my first thing was like, all right, what's your goal or your plan that you want to get up to? Do you want to build a team? Do you want to stay solo? Because all those answers have to do with what you should do next. So I've got like 3 different ideas I could tell you right off the bat, but I want to hear what your goals are and what you're trying to get to.
Sure. I mean, eventually I'd love to be less in production and more so just bringing in the leads that way, because I have 5 little kids, and so that way I could make sure I get time with them and not running out doing showings and whatnot. Yeah. So, and I mean, like last weekend, I had a new listing while I was at my son's baseball game, and I'm fielding phone calls the entire time, and I'm like, this is a hot mess, you know. So I think eventually, whether it be a team or just referring the clients out to someone else, even if they're not technically on my team, something like that would probably be the goal.
Okay. Yeah. So bring in a buyer's agent. It's like an eventual goal of yours you would like to get to.
Yeah. And potentially even a listing agent as well.
So would you know what kind of volume you would need? And this is going back to what Luke was saying, that you would need to get to in order to financially make that make sense.
Yeah. I mean, I would probably need to be at least 10 to 15 million, probably, to like start feeling where I'd feel comfortable with that.
Yep. Okay. So we need to double our production in order to bring someone like that along.
Yeah.
Right.
Which I think I'll probably get at least pretty close to 10 million this year, I think.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, that is the central problem. Luke, brought it up. It's like, we just, as real estate agents, for whatever reason, and it took me so long to do this as well, we do not know our P&L. And like, so we always ask, like, I ask volume numbers, transaction numbers, right? I want to get to that. But then I'm just like, okay, but what was your gross? And everyone's okay with GCI. They're just like, yeah, I made this much in GCI. Yeah. I'm like, what's your P&L? It's like, well, I'm running at a 5%, profit margin.
Right. Yeah.
And it doesn't work, because like, you want to get out of this business and retire, but you'd have you're throwing splits and stuff out there just wildly. You're hiring a showing agent. You decide to hire a buyer's agent on your team, and you realize your profits just drop through the roof. You have to start with that, because you got to go, what's it going to take volume wise, then gross income wise, then profitability, to be able to pay for that buyer's agent. You have to get there, because your next step, honestly though, your next step will not be the buyer's agent. Keep with the showing agent. You're going to find that. You're going to go, dude, I'm only paying my showing agent this much. Yep. Great job, right? So then the next one's going to be your transaction coordinator. Right. And the biggest thing with transaction coordinator, you're going to go, what's it going to cost me to get this in the industry, right? And then you go out and hire a badass transaction coordinator and put the whole transaction on their plate. I'm talking writing contracts, right? Setting up inspections, taking it all the way to closing with communicating with your client. That's going to take the most time off your plate. And I would encourage you, do not step out of the business too soon, right? Everyone wants to go from, I want to start a team and jump out of the business, right? You've got, it sounds discouraging, you got a 5-year period at least to ramp up to get the team so that you can pull out of production.
Because we literally made that mistake. We got up to 14 agents. You pulled yourself out of the business, Steve, dependent on John and Lolly at the time. Shout out to them. Hope they're doing well, but they ended up leaving us for splits. The team crumbled. Now you're down to 5 agents that are doing, amazing, like a SEAL team, and totally turned it around. But that was our experience. Is like, we made that literal mistake of Steven crushing it. You did 35 your first year, 78 your second year, I think it was. Hired Kelly on as kind of an assistant, similar kind of, David, to what you were saying, although she was doing more transaction coordinating, I think, at the time. Started to scale the team, 320 transactions by our 5th year, and then boom. Which is
the reason it takes 5 years, because it's until you get SOPs, like, this is what a buyer's agent does. This is transaction coordinator does, and you can present that, you're going to live in chaos. So when you pull out of production, to my point, is the agents hold the leverage. So when an agent's doing 30, 40 deals on your team and you're not producing, if they walk out the door, what happens to your P&L? And where I was. And so then I made bad decisions, commission breath on, going, oh, I can't change the split here. You know what I mean? I can't not send the person a lead when I shouldn't send them a lead because I need the profitability. Start with your numbers. You got to know those, and then you can ramp up. And I would encourage you to hire a transaction coordinator after the showing assistant and then a buyer's agent.
David, the volume and the lead flow. So P&L, admin first.
Yeah. And Stephen, to your point, were you suggesting it being a licensed assistant? That way they can actually help with contracts and all that kind of stuff too.
It's so easy. I don't know what state. I think you said Ohio.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how difficult it is there, but it's so easy to get a real estate. All of our ISAs have real estate. Every single
employee on our team has to get a license.
Even our marketing coordinator is getting one right now. He's in the background here.
David, man, fantastic question. We got to get on to our next caller, but I want to summarize for you is you're doing extremely well. So you're naturally talented. The activity that you're doing is fantastic, but my ideal is just now focus on becoming the business owner, not just the salesman. Right now you're in the salesman role. You must get into the business owner role. A business owner has a goal, knows their numbers, and then develops a strategic plan based upon what historical activity is the best thing to tell you what you can do in the future. So you need to track your numbers, know them based upon that target. Set the targets. Let's talk in a year. I guarantee you, you're going to be at 20 million. If you do that. If you don't do it, we'll talk to you and you'll still be at 8. But if you do it, you'll be at 20 million. But brother, man, thank you so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for your time. Love the podcast. Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks.
Dave.
Have a good one.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, there you go. Make sure to get your questions answered live here on Stay Paid. Head on over to remindermedia.com/ask. Shout out to Reminder Media. They're the ones that pay the bills around here.
When I brought up the postcard P&L, he's like, yeah, we need to make sure we're actually making some money here,
All right, we are going to bring in our next caller. We have Steve from Illinois. Steve, welcome to Stay Paid.
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for coming on Stay Paid, man. Really excited to have you on the show. Would love to hear from you. What is the big maybe problem that is happening in your business or blocker that you think is preventing you from getting to the next level that we can help with?
I guess I wanted to figure out how to, so I do the magazines.
Yes, sir.
I send out to about 100 of my past clients and current prospects. And I guess the big thing that I wanted to try to understand is what's the most effective thing that I could do after sending out the American Lifestyle magazines to try to get referrals from these people?
Man, love it. Okay, so great question. And one, thank you for being a client. Thank you for calling into the show. And hopefully, because I know we have a ton of clients that listen to this, so hopefully this will be very applicable to everybody who uses the magazine, but not just if you use the magazine. This will really translate to any of the touch points that you're sending your database. So when you send marketing, what I always encourage people to understand is the difference between passive and proactive marketing. So when you do marketing, whether it's a mailer, an email, a social post, a billboard, doesn't matter, you're in the passive category. And what does that mean? It means that you have to wait for the consumer to take the action in order for you to get the lead. And so what you want to try to do is do a lot of passive marketing, because that is marketing a lot of times in general, but you want to try your best to turn it into proactive marketing. So ways you can do this in marketing is having call to actions where you get them to take an action based upon the piece that you've sent them. So for your magazine, and I'm not sure if you're doing this or not, I would love to look at your account, but we released a new feature not too long ago where you could put call to actions on your front cover and QR codes. So I know like Acri Brothers, we did a mailing like 2 issues or maybe 3 issues now ago where we did home prices have gone up 30K in Lynchburg. Want to know what your home's worth? Scan this QR code. We sent it to 429 people, got 33 scans on that mailing. So what did that do? It took a passive piece, gave a call to action that gave people a chance to be proactive, and we had 33 people scan it. But what I really want to encourage the audience to do, because even in that scenario, you're still hoping, and you're still kind of handcuffed to that your call to action is good enough to get someone to do something. And I want to put the ball in your hands. I want you to be on the offensive, not the defensive. And that really is the outreach. And so I encourage agents, use the magazine as your reason to call your clients. In ReminderMedia's interface, we try to make it even better for you and easier to know who to call. Have you used Steve Likely to Move at all in your interface?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, I was talking to the other Steve, but yes, I know you have, Steven. But Steve, have you used Likely to Move?
I've looked at it. I have
Okay.
not taken any action on it. Some of
Beautiful.
them I felt
All right.
like it wasn't 100%. I know it's
Yeah, no, you're spot on. They're definitely not
Definitely not
100%.
100%.
Yep. So what Likely to Move is it's this idea is like, whether you're using the magazine or not, the idea is when you send a touch point, have you reached out proactively with a phone call, text message, pop by, which is face-to-face, to your database? And if you haven't, that is the number one thing you can do, because it allows you to engage your client, and it allows you to now have control of the ball to take it to the end zone, to get the referral, to get the lead. Likely to Move is just an algorithm that we run on your database. It's not perfect. It's about 24% accurate. It uses public data to try to go, what life events are happening on your database? I call it the D list, like death, divorce, downsizing, dumpsters, diamond rings, diapers. Like, these signify life events, and this is public record data. You can get consumer purchasing data, property data, all that good stuff. We're taking that data, putting it into an algorithm, and then allowing it to go against your addresses to score them who's likely to move. Steven, can you share? I know you did a call night not too long ago calling your likely to move list. What was your kind of feedback on that? And more importantly, what would you encourage Steve here on the call to say when he's calling his sphere based upon the magazine or a touch point?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, we did a call night, as you alluded to. I probably called 100 people that night. And, of course, some of the data is off. I'd say the scores that I saw in Likely to Move, the higher the score, it might mean they're already on the market. But they were pretty extremely accurate if they're the high scores. And then it ticks down from there. So anywhere really in the 80s is where I wanted to be. Those are the leads that I got. But my call to them is simply like, I'm not asking anything of them off the bat. I'm calling, these are my sphere. I'm calling to check in. So, hey, Susie, how's it going? What you been up to? All that good stuff, right? Hey, I just want to make sure you received my magazine. I'm sending that out, quarterly to you. Got some cool recipes. Everyone reads the recipes in there. So I got some cool recipes. They'll say they received it. Awesome. By the way, and this is the ask, by the way, we're giving out some free valuations. Everyone wants to know what their home's worth. And I just wanted to see if you knew what your house was worth and if you'd want some numbers on that. And of course, they're like, sure. And then you go, great. Hey, any plans of moving in the future? And then they'll go from there and they'll tell you data of what's going on. We already know the likely move is helpful because we already know there is some data point there that they have some intentions of selling in the future. And so that's why I like it.
Yep. So if you notice, the idea is you're just calling to check in, have a conversation, and then you leverage some data point that you have or some item of value that you are offering. So like Steven, we can huddle, offline, Steve, to set up your magazine with this call to action. But I would encourage you, Steve, is like, let's put a want to know what your home's worth call to action on your front cover, linking out to the landing page in your system. And then when you call behind the magazine just to check in on Cody, and you're saying, hey, just wanted to check in. Reason why you popped into my mind today is I just got my latest magazine and wanted to make sure you got it. I hope you've been enjoying it. It's something I send to all my best relationships. That's a key point. Always tell people they're your best relationship because that's how to win friends and influence people. But then go, how's life? You catch up. And then you say, hey, by the way, I also wanted to point out one of the things that I'm offering on my magazine just as an item of value for people is a lot of people are asking me for what their home equity is, like how much equity they have, what's the value of their home. So I put a free tool right there on your magazine. It's a QR code. You can scan it at any point and get just a free home valuation. I can always follow up with you to give you a professional CMA. But you can scan that QR code. Now, do you know what your home's worth right now? And then that's the transition that makes it super easy to have a conversation about real estate. The other one I would share with you is if you don't want to have the direct ask to Cody, the client, than to ask Cody if he knows anybody you can help. And the way that I do that is I always go, hey, Cody, love being your agent. Just want to say thank you for allowing me the opportunity to serve you, and go, hey, I have a lofty goal for my business this year. I really want to help, whatever your goal is, Steve. Let's say it's 25 people. I want to help 25 families find or buy their dream home. And not to be funny, Cody, as I think about people I would want to work with, if I could work with 25 Codys, you might think I'm crazy, but it would be awesome. So I don't know if you know any friends. Maybe they're not looking to buy or sell right now, but my business is just all about relationships. I would love to just get to know those people, and maybe I can send them my magazine. But does anybody pop into your mind that I could reach out to now? And that framing is so important because people want to help others out. Don't rob people of the joy of giving. It's better to give than receive. So when you ask somebody for help with your goal, you're giving them a chance to give to you. And so it's really important to go, man, I have a lofty goal for my business this year. I want to help this many people, and then you praise them. You lift people up. Man, if I could work with 25 of you, Josh, you might think I'm crazy. You make a joke out of it. But man, it would be amazing. Do you know anybody that you could introduce me to? Now, what's the main objection when you ask somebody for a referral? They immediately think, well, I don't know anybody that needs to list their home right now in this second today or wants to buy right now. And so you got to take that objection away from them, and you got to go, hey, they might not be looking to buy right in this second and minute, but my whole business is relationships. I just want to get to know more people and would love to get to know. Do you have any, maybe it's family in the area or friends that you do things with that I could introduce myself to? And then you're building your database.
Yeah.
So hopefully, Steve, that makes sense.
Hey, is there anyone else I can add value to? So
yes.
Like, hey, instead of asking, is there anyone that looks to buy? Is there anyone else I can add value to that? Just like with me and you, giving you updates and, sending you the magazine, I'm just looking to add as much value to as many people as possible, make relationships. Is there anyone, I can add value to? Not seller list, me, I'm just trying to help as much as I can. Is there anyone that that I could do that for? And that's a way easier ask for them to think of someone to give you a name that you can then contact and connect and build your pipeline up.
Steve, how many deals have you done this year?
I've actually only closed one so far.
One so far. How long have you been in the business?
I'm in my 10th year.
10th year. Okay. So it's a tougher year for you. What did you do last year?
I guess I was just under 10.
Okay. Just under 10. What type of volume did that produce for you?
About 4 million, I think.
Okay. About 4 million. So not bad. Okay. So in your goal this year, you're trying to hit around 10 again?
I want to exceed that,
Okay.
Look into, more for like the teens to into the 20s.
Okay, awesome. So then I would look at if you've only done one so far, you want to be in the teens to the 20s, right? You're off, and obviously your trend where you need to be. That. So the number one thing you want to look at is your activity that you are doing proactively, and this gets into the heart of your question, which is why I'm saying it is going. Hey, the magazine is amazing. I love it. I send out thousands myself to my list, and we're doing it for Acre Brothers and obviously a ton of other agents, but it's still passive marketing. We also at ReminderMedia, I've built a call center of 100+ people on the phones, so that's a proactive activity. So I have thousands of magazines going out. I mean, how many emails do we send a month to our prospect list?
Our prospect list, 3 million.
Yeah, but there you go. So, but do you know how many? I mean, we're not sending 3 million different ones. Do you know how many different emails we're sending?
How many unique
unique, like we're trying to prospect our database.
We will hit them at least once a month, and then depending on if we have another product based on seasonality, 2 to 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, right, we have magazines going out, 2 to 3 emails, 100 callers making thousands of calls a day. Now on our database, right? In our databases, we're marketing to real estate agents, insurance agents, financial advisors, that type of idea. But that same concept translates to you, Steve, of going, all right, man, I'm only at one transaction. So the activity that I am doing daily is not producing the results I need. It doesn't mean what you're doing is bad. It just means that you probably aren't doing enough activity to generate the results. Because if you look at businesses like ours or Acre Brothers does open houses every week, basically. They do circle prospecting every day. They have Facebook ads running that generate leads out of Facebook, and their agents call those. They have 700, I think, plus magazines going out to their sphere. They have 4 client events they do a year. And so what I would encourage you also to think about is, this is probably a lot of info for you, is take the magazine and add the proactive outreach of the phone call, and then step back and go, okay, what else can I do daily to get lead generation happening? And there's a great podcast you can listen to that we all did together on circle prospecting. It's a free way that you can prospect. You're pounding the phones a little bit, but it is working right now. And we've heard this not only from Acre Brothers. We interviewed, what was it, Nick Harris out of Michigan, if I'm not mistaken, and he's doing the same thing and having very similar results. So it's a very popular thing that's going around right now. So Steve, I hope that helps you, brother. And please, 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 let's get in touch, because I want to make sure that you have success with this, because at the end of the day, that's what this is about. So you can friend us on social at Stay Paid Podcast. Shoot us a message. You can friend me at Luke Acre, but would love to connect, brother.
Sure. And I'm definitely interested in the putting something like a QR code on the cover, because I do have something like that already, but I'd like to talk with you about that call to action.
Yeah. Just remember that QR code's not going to do anything. So it's going to help you, but what's going to help you is making the calls. So I would just the first thing you said from that answer is I only get the QR code, which is great. It's an add value, but don't forget, the main thing you should walk away from this is you got to make calls to these people about the magazine. That's the only way you're going to up your business.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if we do that, we will win, Steve. I know we will, because we're doing it in our business. And I have a ton of other agents I talk to every day that are winning that way. And this applies to everybody. If you're not doing a magazine, you're doing an email, you're doing an item value that you're sending. Are you calling the clients that you send it to? If you're not, you're missing out on the most important step of the actual process in the buyer's journey. So let's make it happen. Steve, appreciate you coming on, man. Hope you have a great one.
Thanks. You too.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye. All right, there you go. ReminderMedia.com.
Yep.
If you're interested in what these magazines look like.
Yeah, we got to pay for this show, man. Got to remind that Steve was a setup. Now, I want to get Steve. We couldn't see him, but I could tell he's a little beat up, a little down. So I want to, get with him and see, make sure. I can tell he's not doing nearly enough activity, and he's thinking, not in a bad way. You're going to close 1 to 10 deals a year from pure just referrals and just relationships. If you're just a relationship person, you'll close that many deals a year, but you'll never get out of that, because you have to have a proactive outreach. Even for referral generation, the best referral generators have a proactive outreach, man. Brian Buffini, who literally has lived and breathed referrals his whole career, go check out what he encourages agents to do with the handwritten notes and the pop-bys and everything else. It is proactive outreach that is the key.
Yeah, and that's the market we're in.
Yep.
You got to make the action. It's not, you can just send stuff all day, but you got to make the calls.
Awesome. You can get your questions answered as well over at ReminderMedia.com/ask. We've got Ron from the beautiful state of California calling in. Ron, how you doing? Welcome to Stay Paid. There you are.
Hi. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Ron. Welcome to Stay Paid, man. And glad to have you on the show. Would love to hear what your big problem or blocker is that's keeping your business from going to the next level.
Well, basically, I'd like to have a pipeline with leads coming through all the time, and basically, set it up on LinkedIn and Facebook to have a steady flow of leads coming in. And I'm not really sure how to do that. So that's why the
Wouldn't we all want a steady flow of leads, everybody?
Please.
Yes.
I've been saying that. I mean, Reminder Media, how many leads do we produce a month, you think?
Oh,
thousands. And I'm just we still don't have enough leads. We need way more leads. Everybody needs more leads. So the question for you for clarifying, are you talking about paid for Facebook and LinkedIn and stuff? Or are you talking about organic or both? Because we could go down 2 different routes.
I'd like to probably do both. I definitely have to start off paid probably, to get in front of people. But
like to do both.
Exactly. Do both and have organic leads as well as paid leads to get out in front of people to start.
What has your volume been this year in your business? How many transactions or how much volume have you done this year so far?
It's been pretty low, probably because I've been buying leads, but it's been spending about $1,000 a month on leads.
Okay, so you are spending $1,000 a month, but I meant, sorry, clarification of the question. I meant how much real estate have you sold this year?
Oh, I'm not in real estate. I'm in life insurance.
Life insurance. Okay, so
Yeah,
how many? Like,
yeah.
how has the year been for you in terms of deals done?
It's been pretty slow as far as life. During open enrollment with health insurance, I sell health insurance as well with Covered
Okay.
California. So
Okay.
that was very busy. Health insurance has been very busy, but it
Okay.
doesn't pay as well as life insurance. So
Okay. What is the, can you give me some idea, because this will help me frame up also how much you should be spending, but what's like your revenue that you will produce, or for you, you know, your commissions that you will make at the end of the year that your business will profit?
about it's been pretty low, like 5,000-6,000 a month.
Okay.
Yeah,
5,000-6,000.
and we're paid differently with health insurance,
Sure.
you know, as opposed to life insurance.
Is that take home, like you're making essentially 5,000-6,000 a month?
Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah.
that gives me an idea of how much you, and that's after spending $1,000 right now.
Yeah, because
okay.
I'm paying $36 a lead. So
okay.
Yep. What's your main lead source right now, Ronald?
Well, I work with health markets, so I buy leads directly from them, from my IMO.
Yep, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, my question, I'm thinking of like, why are you focusing in on Facebook and LinkedIn? Like, how did that come up to like a focus point for you?
Basically, they encourage us to, you know, get out there on LinkedIn and Facebook, and you know, get yourself out there. But it's like a dicey situation because they have very strict limits on how you can advertise, and you know what I mean. It's like, you know, I'm kind of confused. They want us out there, but they don't let us say anything. You know what I mean?
Welcome to the world of financial services. That
exactly.
is
yeah. I mean, we have very strict limits of what we can say and how we can, you know, market ourselves and everything like that. Because
we joke here at Reminder Media that compliance is the sales prevention department. So a little bit of a little bit of our story is we work with, you know, we got started in real estate, and you know, obviously work with tens of thousands of real estate agents, but we then got into financial services. And so we have thousands of financial advisors that use our marketing platform. And then we're probably up to 4,000 or so insurance agents at this point that are using our marketing as well. But the one thing we have learned in the insurance and finance space is that compliance is a tricky component that you have to abide by, because it stops you from doing a lot of stuff. I always encourage people when it comes to Facebook and LinkedIn or any social platform is the concept of social media was meant to be social. And most people get the media part, but they don't get the social part. And where I always try to encourage people when it comes to their social media is that, hey, right now, are you at least doing the basic, which is you have the profiles, they're up to date, and that they are consistently being posted on with both educational content and personal content. So where would your answer be on that? Are you hitting at least that, Ronald?
No.
Okay, so it doesn't. We don't even really have to go to the next ones, but it's like if I was going to do an audit, and Josh is going to try to pull up your info right now and like audit your social. But if I was going to audit your social, first thing I would look for is it up to date? Do you actually have a picture, a good picture on there? Do you have your contact information on there? Do you have postings that are going up consistently? That how often are you posting a week right now?
I'm not posting because I'm basically kind of a little terrified to, with the compliance part of it, so it's like, but if I do have a picture and my content.
Compliance will only hit you. Compliance will only hit you if you are talking about a product or talking about advice around a product. Like that's truly what they're looking for. On the personal side, they're not going to hit you for sharing what you're doing today. You know what I mean? Helping clients, doing stuff like that. So, and that's what ultimately from the social standpoint of social media gets people connected to you. It's like, I want to know who Ronald is. There's a ton of people that can sell me health and life insurance. So why would I want to go with Ronald? What's the old Zig Ziglar saying? I've got to know, like, and trust Ronald. And most people, what they get wrong about, this whole know, like, and trust is that they only focus on the informational side of their products and services. But 99% of your client's life has nothing to do with health or life insurance. So you will get no likability and no really rapport building by just talking about health and life insurance. So the stuff that compliance will hit you for, which is talking about health and life insurance and not doing approved stuff and all that good stuff, that's the stuff that, you know, clients won't even connect with you on. What they're going to connect with you on is who you are and your journey and what you're doing. And so what you want to do is start posting kind of about your day. Gary Vee calls it like document, not create. So it's like just document, like today, hey, was on Stay Paid podcast today, learning how to grow my business and help more of my clients. And so you're just documenting. That's a piece of content that now your followers will start seeing. And in psychology, activity makes consumers think productivity. Okay. And in buyer psychology, buyers want to buy from people they look up to, not people they look at, meaning I know as much about, you know, insurance as Ronald does, or I know more. I want to see that Ronald's a hustler. I want to see that Ronald works night and day to help his clients. I want to see that Ronald is passionate about what he does, because why? That builds my trust in Ronald. So
it's like selling without selling. Is
exactly. 100%. Right. And so like compliance, what firm are you with?
Health Markets.
Okay, Health Markets. So, so like they probably in their marketing department can give you some more guidance, because compliance is a little tricky because I've found it is different every firm that we talk to. Yes. But in general sense, they probably have pre-approved marketing collateral that you can use, pre-approved stuff on products, stuff like that. They have pre-approved, or I should pre-approved. They have disclaimers that you can put in your posting. But I would just focus even more on how do you friend all the people that you have done business with, because your best deal is in the deal you just did. Like that's your next deal is in the deal you just did from the referral. So I would do that. And so look and go, are you posting every day? Are you posting some personal content to connect with people? And then go get pre-approved content from Health Markets. Yep. And if they can't help you, talk to Reminder Media. We could probably help you. We do social content for people and stuff like that, but we can help you with getting content and all that good stuff. And then on the paid side, you know, there's a bunch of different things you can do, but you can narrow it down to, do you want to do direct response to get leads, or do you want to do branding? And my question to you right now is, you're buying leads. Are they doing it off of Facebook, or are you buying straight from Health Markets?
Directly from Health Markets.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever run?
I think the branding thing, that's what has been suggested to me more, is like, you know, it's all about branding, you know, as opposed to, you know, any other way. That's what one of my coworkers, because I'm fairly new. I've been with Health Markets for a year, but I've only been licensed, you know, I'm about to renew my license for the first time in August. Okay. So,
how big is your list right now that you have of
my
contacts?
book of business?
Yeah, well, your contacts in your database, both business, like clients you sold stuff to, and then prospects you're working.
About it's a little under 600 people, but I, you know, haven't sold.
Yeah, but that's not bad. How often do you keep in touch with those 600 people?
Well, I'm going through my book of business right now and contacting, you know, after the 6-month period, because it was open enrollment in, you know, October to December. So now I'm going, you know, to reconnect and try to upsell. And I don't know if I should be saying that on here. So if any of you see it, but I'm going to try to upsell, you know, at the 6-month period, you know, for, you know, vision, dental, and life insurance for the people that have sold health insurance.
Yeah, add some more value to them.
Exactly.
But so, your other people,
value,
like how many clients out of the 600? How many clients out of 600?
Well, my book of business is about it's a little under 100.
Okay.
You know that, you know.
So there's maybe 500 other people. Yeah. How often are you hitting those 500 other people?
Well, I'm just starting to now, and I want to incorporate, you know, hitting them with the Facebook, you know, having some type of content on Facebook, which I can say that I have this now. So, you know, I was on the, you know,
I was on Stay Paid. Exactly. You can go post about that. Exactly. The 500. So like, as I step back, I know your question is, how do I, you know, build my brand on social media? You know, I think you have some action items there of, you got to start posting, and you got to start posting personal stuff, and you got to post every day, and you got to be on your stories, and, you know, all that basic stuff. But I think what's actually going to help you more even than that, is you have a little less than 100 clients, but you have 600 people in your database. And so those 500 other people, how are you prospecting them? Like, what email are they getting from you every month? Because email's better than social. So you need an email going out to them. You need a cadence of phone calls that is happening to those people, because I'm assuming those are leads that you've purchased, right?
No, not all those. Some of it is my warm market too. That's
even better. So your sphere, So perfect. So getting an email that goes out. So like if I were stepping in and going to be your marketer, I would immediately start categorizing your database. Do you have a CRM?
There's
Beautiful.
a CRM that's included. In fact, they just updated it with Health Markets. They updated
fantastic, right? So your 600 goes into your CRM. You categorize it by your A, B, and C list, right? And we can define what those are. But let's say A are your actual, people that advocate for you, that are your true clients, that give you referrals, all that good stuff. B are people that maybe they like you, maybe they have referred you once or something like that, but they're not like real core VIPs. And then C is everybody else that you have a relationship with, but they haven't done anything with you. You need a way to get in front of that list in a cadence that frees you up to focus on the current transaction, but these people are being dripped on. So you need an email going out at least once a month, ideally 2 times a month. Your social, your goal should be to friend all these people on social. Your list isn't quite big enough to create a custom list. Most people recommend you need at least 1,000 email addresses and stuff like that to upload a custom list onto Facebook. But that's an idea that you could do. So you want to now grow that database. So if you go, all right, this list of 500 or 600 people I have, I'm hitting them twice a month with a email. I'm hitting them once a quarter with a phone call for all the relationships. Maybe my VIPs, I'm hitting 6 times a year with something like a magazine or a mailer that's going out to them, or I'm inviting them to a client event, right? And all of a sudden, what you'll step back and see is Rome wasn't built in a day. So you need to be coming at the end of every month going, well, how much activity did it happen on my database this month? And if you find yourself coming to the end of the month and you're like, ooh, I only had like 1 hit on these 600 people. Yeah, well, no wonder you only have 100 clients. You got to have multiple hits. And that's the magic. The magic is, how do you build Rome? 1 brick at a time. When you get to the end of the month, what is the bricks? The bricks is the hits on the database. How many calls were made? How many emails were sent? How many mailers went out? How many posts on social? You won't be able to control the result, but you will 100% be able to control the activity. And right now, you're just getting started. Congrats to you. You're already doing well, so congrats. But you're not doing enough activity because you're scared of the compliance thing. I understand that. Get over the fear. Call up your compliance department and say, hey, I need you guys to help me, not hurt me. So what is pre-approved right now so I can use it? Because I could go hit this database. Because what good's the list, Ronald, if you don't hit the list?
That's true.
Okay.
And what you just mentioned something that I was looking into. That personal branding magazine. Have you heard of that? I can't remember the name of the company, but I was about to check in with this guy that offers that magazine that I guess real estate agents use mostly. They have their own picture on the cover, and you're like,
I heard
I heard the guy that runs that business is like the best looking, smartest, most intelligent guy that have you heard this, Josh?
You guys know what I'm talking about though, right?
Oh, dude, Ronald, this is going to be the clip of the episode. So Ronald, I actually own that business. So that's our business.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I thought you were set.
Okay, so you just we've spoke. I mean,
I don't think I've spoken to you before. It's probably one of my team members, but 100% would love to talk to you about that. I'm biased because obviously, own it and champion it all day long, but it is the best touch point to send your database because of 2 reasons. One is it's different. Right. And so most everybody is getting marketed to by postcards, emails, and all this different collateral. But think about it. Your plumber sends you it, your electrician, your dentist, every other business sends you the same stuff. And the magazine is exclusive. Only you can send it. So you immediately get yourself out of the pile of noise, and now you stand out. But more importantly than that, the consumer actually sees it as a gift. not solicitation. And that's key because why? Because in psychology, what you want to trigger is reciprocity. You want the client to feel special. You want them to feel like, oh man, I want to call Ronald to say thank you. And we've seen over 20 years, it generates a 31% referral rate from sending it because it gives you what? Visibility and credibility. It gives you visibility in the home because it lives for 4 to 6 weeks in the home. It gives you credibility because immediately when you're on a magazine, you're elevated versus someone who's on a postcard or someone who's on an email.
Yeah, I guess I can be like Oprah and be on every cover.
Yeah, there you go, man. Ronald, we're gonna get you signed up for the magazine. We actually have our next caller we got to get to, but I want to talk to you obviously about the magazine, but also more importantly, helping you with your business because already a year in, you already have 100 clients. You're great. Like you're doing awesome stuff. I can just tell there's this hesitancy to action. And I just want to push you. I want to push you over that hesitancy. Like you saying, I'm scared of what to post. That's on you. That's not on compliance. That's on you. And because you know why? Because you live with the results of it. Compliance does not. So you can sit here and say, I don't post because of compliance or whatever, right? The excuses. And this applies to anybody listening to this. But realize if you're the one that bears the consequence of the result, then it's on you. It ain't on them, man. It's on you. You're going to live in that bed. And so if it's me, and this is the difference between me and most people, I'm like, F it. I'm calling compliance and say, hey, I need today the approval for people. If you want me to be a top producer on your team, which I'm going to be, I need your help with this. And that is the difference separator between average people and great people. And like I said, man, the guy that, owns and runs that magazine company, man, he's just a great guy. Ronald, appreciate you, brother. You've been awesome, man. Go make it happen. We'll talk. Let's connect. We'll definitely talk, but appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Ron. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Good luck. Good luck out there. All right, there you go. Make sure to head on over to ReminderMedia.com/ask to get your questions answered. I really thought he was leading those.
Oh, I knew the whole time you didn't know who he was. That was amazing. I was like, this is going to be the opening of the episode. This is so great. What does that teach you guys? What does that teach you? Do we market enough, gentlemen? No, we do not market enough. You think you're getting your face out there. You think you're doing enough touch points. You're not, because there's guys like Ronald who can be on a podcast with you that is sponsored by the literal company. And shout out to you, Ronald, because it's a wake up call for us and still not know.
It's crazy. He knew about the magazine though. That's the crazy part. Like he knew of the product.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's amazing. It's awesome. I mean, I can't wait.
How did you hear the show then?
Yeah.
Was a referral? It's so cool.
It's awesome.
Love it. All right. You can get all of the show notes. Thank you to all of our callers that called in today. You can get the show notes, the videos, any of the resources that we mentioned over at staypaidpodcast.com. If you like this episode, make sure to head on over to YouTube, youtube.com/ReminderMedia.
Yes.
Subscribe to us there and give this video a thumbs up. And if you want to follow us on social media, we are at Stay Paid Podcast. And of course, you can reach us via email as well, podcast@ReminderMedia.com. And if that's not enough links, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, take action,
Do
people.
one of
Real
them.
Advice from real leaders. I should just say real people in the trenches. But remember, you got to take action. That's the difference between top producers and mediocre producers is they take action. Take action on that today.